All right, folks, Captain Paul here. Week 76, Chief.
Get you some of that.
There you go. Anyway, this week, last week we talked a little bit about, what's selling, what's not selling, stuff like that. Why Blue Max sold, but it didn't sell. And the hard reality is it's hard to find a good boat.
Yeah.
But let's say you buy the boat. And I don't care what boat it is. I don't care what brand it is. I'm just saying, if you buy the boat, what next? Oh dear, what have I got us into?
Oh.
Holy shit. So I'm going to just do what I know and what's important to me, because it could be something different for everybody, but you guys know I'm an engine room guy. My engines have got to be running good, and that's where you've got to start. We've done these videos several times before. The inside of the boat, the three most important things are air conditioner, mattress, and
toilet.
And your toilet system. Yeah. It's got to be 100%. Those got to be your. If you don't have a good working electric toilet, I mean, you're done. And I'm not a big vacuum flush fan. I personally just love the basic. They're about $1,000 whether you buy a rattan. I think they're about $1,500 if you buy. You can spend up to $1,500 on them.
Yeah.
But a good toilet is not cheap, and it's worth its weight in gold. The hand pump toilets, they're fine for the weekend warriors. I've had them on just about every boat I've owned, but that's what they're made for. Weekend warriors. If you're going to be a liveaboard, it needs to be an electric grinder toilet. It's got to take the stuff, and no toilet paper ever goes down your toilet, because that's what builds up in the tanks and causes the smells and odors and stuff like that. Yeah. The next thing is the mattress. You've got to have a comfortable mattress to sleep on at night. Now, if you're the type of person that you don't care what the other people did to the mattress, you pick it up, there's a bunch of mold underneath it, and you want to sleep on that, that's fine, but more than likely you're going to have to change that mattress, and there's several options for that. You can go to Target, you can go to Walmart, buy these fold-up mattresses. They're no good. But some people can survive on those for a few $100, $300. I personally, my mattress was a custom-built mattress. It was $3,000, and it's worth every single penny I paid for it. I hated it at the time. I thought it was an outrageous amount of money that I spent for that mattress, but I don't have any mold underneath it, and it is a comfort. You slept in it once or twice, haven't you, Chief?
Every time you leave.
Anyway, that mattress is worth its weight in gold.
And I got the cheap mattress just because of the situation we have, but I will. It doesn't matter. Once I got used to it, it's fine. But then the difference is he doesn't have to replace his mattress. Me, I'm probably gonna have to replace my mattress here pretty soon and buy a new one, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it is what it is, and also that's a very small.
Yeah, because I cut it.
We had to cut his. But this was an actual custom. It's not quite a queen. It's not quite a full, so it had to be made. Yeah. So toilet, mattress, and air conditioning. If your boat does not have air conditioning, you cannot take these heats and the keys. You can't take them. I don't care if it's in the wintertime. It's still hot out here. Yeah. This boat, when we purchased it, it had 2 working air conditioners, and they worked fine for about a year.
Yeah.
Both of them. But what happens is those seals inside the air conditioners, especially on one, these were old, and they would draw just an incredible amount of power. I'd have to plug this boat into 2 250 amp services if I wanted to run all of the air conditioners. Yeah. And so now they're converted. We have a brand new air conditioner in the front, which is a marine air conditioner, which is marine air. And then we just put this window unit. Best thing we were just talking about 5 minutes ago. Best money we ever spent in our entire lives.
Yeah.
We couldn't. I mean,
really efficient.
It's efficient. It's 90. I'm looking at the temperature right now. It's 90 degrees out there, and inside the boat here, it's right at 75, 80 degrees. It just keeps it so nice and cool in here. Yeah. And it made such a huge difference. The $1 Million Bayliner, he just put one of those split airs. And he put that up in the pilot house. He said, "Paul's best money I ever spent."
And it takes the moisture out of the rooms here.
The air too. We just put a new wash machine in this boat,
yeah.
And to get the moisture out of the air, we can dry our clothes, and we just put a fan across a string, and we can dry our clothes in no time at all. Yeah. And that's because we keep all the moisture out of the boat.
This is the best setup we've had, and we've had it all. We had marine air back here too, and it
works really, really well. But now the number, so we've dealt with those 3 items. Now you've bought the boat, and now what's the next thing we're going to deal with? And I'm going to go back one step, because the very first thing, no leaks in the boat. You can't have any water leaking in the boat in a rainstorm. If you do, that's the first thing you deal with.
Yeah.
Then you got to be comfortable on it. So your mattress, your toilet, and your air conditioners have got to be working and in good order.
And I'd say the engine room is the next.
Yeah, engine room by far. First thing you check out is my steering. If you got hydraulic steering, check that steering really well. Go through it, and it's just visual inspection. Grab a flashlight, know what you have.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. It looks like a shock almost. A shock absorber on an old car, and it has a hydraulic line on one side and another hydraulic line on the other side, and it just moves fluid from side to side.
Yeah.
Is that working? Both helms, is that working? Steering. Know your fuel system. Know how your fuel tanks are.
Good working autopilot is important if you're going to use the boat.
Super, super important. But we'll get into that a few more minutes in the video, because these are the most important thing. After you purchase the boat, is your cooling system on the
engines.
Engines, 100%.
It has to be done, no matter what.
No matter what. And you shouldn't trust any work that anybody else did either. Your oil cooler's got to be new. Your transmission cooler's got to be, and every engine's a little bit different. Whether you pull it off, have it taken over to the radiator shop, and you do them on the Ford Lehmans, you just replace them. They're like $300 a cooler. And same thing with your main cooler on a Ford Lehman. That's $600, and the 2 little coolers are $300.
Yeah, and your exhaust lines too. You got to make sure those are in good shape.
Yeah, the exhaust lines, the rubber exhaust lines that connect from the back of the engine and go out through the. So many times that gets overlooked in the survey.
Yeah.
Or.
And they're expensive too.
Yeah, it's not a cheap proposition.
Yeah.
But those lines have to be changed. These are all things that I did on Loop Princess. The very first thing that I did, Pete got me the boat. He picked it up in Maine. Had a friend of ours, Mark, get in the boat with him, drive it up to me. But the first thing we did was transmission cooler, oil cooler, and then on both engines dropped all the oil, all the fuel filters, everything we did. Remember?
Yeah.
That's the first thing we did, and then we went through our raw water pump. Your raw water pump is the pump that brings the salt water into the engine so that it cools the engine. Anyway, so the impeller is super, super important. I mean, why trust? Just put a new impeller in. So you got your 2 main engines, your generator, brand new impellers in that. And
check your alternators.
Your belts. Make sure your belts look okay. Look at all your hoses. Just do a good visual inspection of all of that stuff. And again, if you have a turbocharged engine, you just want to go through your coolers. I see it so many times. You got everybody just wants to go buy these new boats. I'm going through it right now with probably a half a dozen people. Say, Paul, can you jump in my boat next week? I said, yes. Is this done? Does it have? Is the fuel? Are you going to take me in the ocean? Then the fuel better be polished. When's the last time the fuel was polished? Or we're not going in the ocean, because the ocean is going to jump you up and down. It's going to knock anything loose in the tank, and it's going to plug up your ray cores, and that's not something you want to deal with out in the middle of the ocean. You just don't want to mess with it. It's happened to me twice. Not going to happen to me anymore. Somebody don't want to polish your fuel, I'm not your captain. Go find another captain. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? That's just having clean fuel get to the engine is the number one. You have to. There's no question. You don't need to be broke down out there over dirty fuel tanks. You don't need to be broke down because you didn't put in new impellers in. You don't need to be broke down because you didn't go through your cooling system. It's just basic maintenance. Aftercoolers need to come off of the engines. The aftercoolers, all the soot has to come out of the aftercoolers. They got to be unbolted from the engine. If you're going to pay a mechanic, each engine, you're probably looking at about, if it's a turbocharged engine, you're probably looking at somewhere around $10,000 a side if you're going to do it correctly, and paying somebody. If you're doing it yourself, it's probably around, I don't know, probably $3,000 or $4,000 in parts. So just remember that when you guys are looking at these boats. And the cooling system on the engines. So water pump, you got 2 different breakdown of the cooling system. Is the raw water coming in, so that's the ocean water coming into the boat, and then you have the circulating water that circulates in the block, and that's coolant with it that runs off of another water pump. So each engine has two water pumps. One's a raw water pump, and one's a freshwater pump, and that circulates the antifreeze just like in your car around the block and through the exhaust and all that stuff, keeping all of that cool. And that's how they cool these engines. And then the raw water comes around that and cools that. So both of those raw water pumps, which it's less likely that you're going to have a problem. Usually there's a weep hole on the front of the water pump on the main engine. And if you see any antifreeze coming out of there, you got to put new pumps on, put new water pumps on. And then the raw water pumps, same thing. If you see a bunch of grind and buildup and stuff around those raw water pumps, they got to be changed. Yeah. I know what it costs on a Lehman. Ours are about $600 a piece. I did both of them on Loop Princess. I just remember too, Loop Princess, new batteries. Do you want to be out there dealing with old batteries? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people overlook that if you want to be out there with old batteries. But this boat, believe it or not, Southern Estate, since we've bought Southern Estate, we've gone through
two sets of batteries,
two complete sets of batteries, because we switched the house to lithiums. Yeah. And so then it's completely wired differently, and it's completely run differently than it was when we originally purchased the boat. Yeah. Because when I originally purchased it, he had a bunch of battery. He had two,
which
6
worked.
volt. Yeah,
they
worked.
Old school.
It's old, but the generator and both engines started off that battery. Matter of fact, today, Chief, I bought 2 battery tenders, one for the starboard engine and one for the generator, because it's kind of not connected into the whole boat system. So those batteries don't get maintained like all the other batteries, just because they're outside of that system. Yeah. So I bought 2 maintenance chargers for those 2 little batteries right there. Yeah, nice. That's maintenance. I literally just ordered those on Amazon today, because I went to today to fire up the generator and the starboard engine, and both of them, the battery's a little bit weak on it. So I shut it down right away, and I said, I'm just going to charge these batteries, and then I'll fire up everything tomorrow. So batteries, cooling system, go through this stuff. You don't need to be out stuck in the canal. You don't need to start America's Great Loop. You don't need to start your summer off. You don't need to buy a boat, have to move it 1,000 miles, and find out that you need before the boat gets moved. Cooling system should be gone through, and unless if the boat's been maintained meticulously, and some of them are. You got nothing to worry about. I mean, and you can when you get down in your engine room, you'll know if you see a bunch of rust and that green caked on powder everywhere, you got problems. I promise you that. If you go walk down there and you got a pristine engine room and you don't see any of that stuff, you're good to go. Let me see the maintenance records on these, and it's not puffing black smoke out the back of it. If you got turbocharged engines, typically when you see a black smoke coming out of the back of a turbocharged engine, the aftercooler needs to be cleaned. That's why a lot of times why it'll do it, or if it's lacking RPMs or something like that, it's because the aftercoolers need to be cleaned and stuff like that. So if you're going to own the boat, be prepared for that. And so I've had people in the comments say throw a price on it. Each engine, $10,000 on a turbocharged, naturally aspirated. You're probably looking at around, this is paying people to do it. You're probably looking at $2,500 a side, so about $5,000, about half the price. I'm about right on that number. It's about twice as much to run. And these are basic numbers, man. I'm not committed to these, because if you got Perkins, if you got cats, whatever you got, cat parts. I remember just doing the transmission coolers. My quote was $7,500, but that was getting somebody to do the work. So that if we had to end up, the survey had went well, and we ended up buying that boat, it had bad fuel tanks in it, so we didn't. Each engine, $10,000 in engine side wouldn't have done everything we needed. We'd probably been closer to about $15,000 in that particular boat. And again, some of this work you guys can do yourselves. So anyway, I just wanted to share this video with you, really, especially for your first time boater, man. Really know what you're getting into, because it's not cheap out there. Prices have, since COVID, the labor's what's killer. even you guys see it at work, right? It's
Yeah.
the prices of everything have gone up. You know, it used to be a good marine mechanic was $100 an hour. It's those days are almost gone. I mean, you almost can't even these guys can't even live out here on $100 an hour anymore, and
Yeah.
so it's rough. So anyway, be very, very careful. Know what you're getting yourself into. It's not going to be a cheap venture. Getting a dilapidated boat up to condition and then getting it ready for the Bahamas or the America's Great Loop is going to be time consuming and is going to cost money. So please don't forget that. Anyway, peace out. You guys need any help? Please leave. Please feel free to reach out. Please leave your comments down below. We love the comments. We love hearing all you guys' comments. How right are we or how wrong are we? You tell us. Anyway, love you guys. Peace out. Make
See
sure you
guys.
hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.